start with a small quiz. I will give you a few words and you try to put them together and think which brand it reminds you of. So let's say red, black, occasionally white, refreshing drink, different flavors launched, so many different flavors launched now and then, zero sugar options available, happy images, happy people, and Pepsi rival. Where did you stand? Coca-Cola, right? Those words I told you are actually brand identity elements. And that's what we will talk about in this video. Hi everyone, my name is Poulomi and I help you create brand strategies and designs that drive your business growth. What are brand identity elements? Well, as the name suggests, they are singular elements that work together to form a good brand identity. Now, if I give you just one word from the example before, red. There are lots of red brands. Yes, a specific shade of red, getting closer. But still, with one element, it is very difficult to make your brand stand out, to make your business stand out, to help people remember you. But when you put a few of them together, then it becomes more recognizable and more memorable. So let's dig into these elements one by one, and I'll give you some tips to create them so that you can make your business and brand stand out. Let's start with the logo. Now, I think logo is one of the most unique things about a brand. But what people don't remember always is that a brand is not a logo. Actually, I have a different video and a different post on the differences between a brand and a logo. But essentially, a logo is only a visual representation of the brand. So since your brand is unique, since your brand strategy, your mission, your purpose, your messaging, everything is unique, your logo should always be unique. Unless someone copies from you, which hopefully doesn't happen, you should have a unique logo. But remember, a logo is not just a design. It is the representation in a visual form of your brand. So the best way to create a logo, I would say give it to a designer, a graphic designer. Just tell them what your brand is about and what you want to be reflected in the logo, and that's the best way. Otherwise, you can go a DIY method there are lots of logo tools on the internet. So, there are lots of ways to create a logo, but I would always say give it to a designer. The second one, colors. Now, as I said before, building differentiation with one color is usually not so easy, but when you have a combination of colors, then it becomes much easier for people to remember you. So if I say blue and yellow furniture brand, you think IKEA. If I say green and white coffee brand logo, you may think Starbucks. So it is not just one color, it is usually a primary color, like in the case of Starbucks, and a dominant color and a supporting color, which makes your logo or your brand palette unique. So 3 is also okay, but if you do too many colors, then you have to watch out a little bit of how you want to create your design elements. There are brands that also do a lot of colors, like Slack. For example, they have a lot of colors in their logo. But again, you have Asana on the other hand, which is a more straightforward one color based, red and white color based logo. So so explore what suits you best, suits your brand best, your business best. And that's how you choose your color palette. Now let's talk about photography. Now I'm going to tell you 2 brands and you can picture them in your mind. Harley-Davidson, remember the photography, and Ducati motorbikes. Very, very different, right? The styles are different, the positioning of the brands are different, the audience is different. Naturally, the photography that follows from it are also very different. So that is like, if I give you a photograph of Harley-Davidson and I don't put the logo, you will probably still guess that it is that one. Right? So that is how a photography can make a brand very, very different. Now, in your regular brand, everyday brand and business, you may not be able to always make them very special images, but maybe a style, like a retro style works, or maybe fast dynamic images work, or maybe a little tinted image, like, a little tint of your brand color, like a little tint of green or red, that can work. There's a brand called Benefit. You can check them out. They have a very specific kind of photography with a little bit of pop artish kind of thing. So there are many ways that you can make your photography unique. You don't have to. Again, it is one of the elements that you can choose. But, if you want to make your photography unique, then you have to add some element which no other brand is doing. Now let's talk about design elements. Now, design elements could be anything like illustrations, icons, graphics, anything that makes your brand pop in the minds of your audience. For example, let's take a brand that, I love very much. It's called Desigual. I don't know if you've heard of it, but among all the fashion brands, Desigual stands out with its bold colors and prints and graphics and flowers and designs. It's just, you look at a product, or you look at their photography, or you look at their store, this is Desigual. You don't even have to say the logo. It is so very distinct, and it's just graphics, sometimes photographs, but a lot of graphics. So that's one way to make it different by design elements. Then you also have mascots, for example. Think about the McDonald's clown or the Michelin Man, I think it's called, and the Duracell bunny, right? These are all different mascots. These are design elements that make your brand memorable and that make, your audience just recognize you and remember you and even connect with you. So that's another brand identity element you can use to differentiate your brand. Now we look at messaging. I'm going to start with a few cliches. Think different. Apple, because you're worth it. L'Oreal, just do it. Nike, right? So these are brand taglines, but it's not the only way you can differentiate your brand with a fancy, catchy slogan. These are called slogans or taglines, and they capture the essence of the brand with, like the values they have. So Nike says, just do it. It's encouraging. It's supportive. L'Oreal, you're worth it. It's all about women's self-worth, and, that you don't always need external things, that your worth is inside. Then you have Apple, think different, embodies their value of innovation, etc., etc. But you can also have the brand promise summed up, which also people can remember, like BMW. The ultimate driving machine, right? What does it mean? It means that it just gives you sheer driving pleasure. BMW promises as a brand to make every experience of your driving with the BMW amazing, right? Then you also have Walmart, right? Save money, live better. Save money. That's their brand value proposition. It's not quality. It's not, we have a lot of products. It's not my customer service. No. It's cheap. Right? So that way you can use your brand messaging to also distinguish from, other brands or other competitors. Now we come to one which is not very commonly used, but it makes so much of a difference: audio. Sometimes you can differentiate your brand with a little piece of sound. It can be a tune, it can be a song, it can be a jingle, or it could also be the sign-off after a commercial. For example, you remember Intel Inside? Ding, 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 ding. Or you have Disney, or any of these studios which have like a starting music when they show their logo and, pump it up. Like you have Universal Studios and MGM and Disney. They all have this distinctive sounds, right? So that's another way that you can build a little bit of differentiation with other brands, especially when you're neck to neck in competition. You need all the brand identity elements that you can get to differentiate your brand. Now, another interesting brand identity element that can also help you build differentiation is touch and feel. Now, obviously, this is most applicable in case of physical products, but a lot of brands use it nevertheless. So especially think of fabric, think of leather goods, think about, outdoor brands, the quality they use. Even in, even in the same type of industry, even in outdoor brands, you might like quality in the feel of one brand versus the other. The luxury industry uses this a lot, like, the Hermes silk scarves, for example. So different types of leather they use in their high quality, high priced leather goods, bags and shoes, etc. So this can be a very important point of differentiation as well. The thing about this element is that it is very hard to build differentiation, again, only with this one, but it's like the other elements as well. But combined with a few others, this can always be top of mind because the sensory feeling of touching products stays with you longer than just the visual aspect of remembering a brand. The last brand identity element we'll talk about is smell. Now, again, this is one element that may not work only in silo, but think about, if you walk past a Dunkin' Donuts bakery, or when people like me, we walk into cosmetics and, self-care product store like Lush, right? The smell is overwhelming. You walk past a store and you just feel like stepping inside. Or if you are into perfumes and think about all the different brands of perfumes you have and the differentiation between them, the feel of the perfume on your skin, right? So it is so many different ways that you can build differentiation with smell, but again in combination with some element. So there you go. Those were the 9 brand identity elements that can help you build differentiation, make you stand out, make you memorable, make you recognizable. I hope you like this video. Do not forget to subscribe, like, comment, share. Would love to know your thoughts. And yeah, stay tuned for more.